The wheel needs a hub. It has to have some place for the axle to go. In order to make the hub work, I had to have enough room for the spokes to go on the outside of it. I wanted 6 spokes, but if I did 3 on one end and 3 on the other end, that would give me more than enough room to stick 3 3/8 diameter spokes on each end of the hub. That's what I'm using, 1/2-inch pipe. I'm going to use this piece of 1/2-inch pipe to make a hub for the wheel out of. It's an old scrap piece. It actually was the handle for the bench vise before I made the new wooden handle. It's going to work just fine as a bearing housing and hub for the wheelbarrow axle. Didn't do so good as the bench handle. Those ends were just nasty. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a groove in 2 spots here so I'll know what length I'm actually going to have the wheel hub. Get out my precision measuring tool here. Make a 4-inch long hub. That'll give it plenty of room for the handles on the wheel to expand out past so that they won't rub on the wheel. I'm going to need 2 2-inch pieces that are going to act as the axle holders. They'll be bolted to the handles, which will join the 2 sides of the wheelbarrow together, and the hub will act as a spacer so that I can have all 3 pieces cut out of this 1 piece of steel tubing. Make sure I got everything clear, all locked down. And I want to put a little bit of oil on that center. Doesn't really need to do a whole lot, but you always want to give it a little bit of lubrication. Now plug in the lathe and see what happens. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this tool. Now I unplug the lathe because I'm going to be working by hand in here, and I don't need to have any distractions like having the thing start up accidentally. With it held securely in the chuck jaws, take this 18 tooth per inch hacksaw, cut right through it. One of the things I like about this kind of hacksaw, I don't hit the bed with it because when I go through, it lands on the part. First cut, second cut. My blade's getting dull. And I still have a little piece left over. Don't know what it's good for, but I've got it. Now I don't have to be ultra precision on this, but practicing doing a good job is never a wasted effort. Right to the mark. Here we have one axle mount, all turned and faced and bored. I'm going to go ahead and bore the rest of these while I got the setup in there. A normally half-inch pipe, which is what this is, has got a 5/8 bore. But you got to remember that this was a vise handle, so somebody really cranked on it. And they bent the tubing, I think. At least crimped a small section of it. Another tube nicely bored. Still needs to be faced. That finishes up the last bracket. Now I just need to come up with a way to weld all this stuff together. I think I'll make a weld fixture. That's going to take a little bit of work though, because the first thing I have to do is I have to clean up the shop. I've got, well, you can see a mess. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.